you ever notice how a smile can tell you everything about a person? Some smiles are warm, comforting, the kind that instantly make you feel safe. Others are polite, the type you give to strangers just to be polite. And then there are smiles that don't belong. Smiles that don't feel real, that don't seem to fit the face wearing them. Those are the smiles that stay with you. The ones that creep into your memory and twist something inside of you that you can't quite explain. I want to tell you about my best friend, Sarah. If you've ever had that one person you thought you could never lose, the person who knows all your secrets, who can make you laugh when you're at your lowest, who feels more like family than a friend. You'll understand what she meant to me. We met when we were kids, maybe 8 or 9 years old. I was shy, quiet, kept to myself. She was the opposite. Bright, outgoing, the kind of kid who could walk into a room full of strangers and leave with 10 new best friends. Somehow, she pulled me out of my shell. Our childhood was full of memories that I thought would last a lifetime. Late nights building forts in her living room, daring each other to sneak outside when her parents were asleep, eating ice cream until we made ourselves sick. She had this laugh, loud, goofy, infectious, and her smile. Her smile was the best part of her. It was the kind of smile that could make the worst day feel okay again. But that smile, the one I loved, the one that felt so real, it wasn't hers anymore. Not after what happened. The change wasn't sudden. It came slowly, like a shadow creeping across the floor. I first noticed it one afternoon when we were catching up at a coffee shop. We'd gone to different colleges, and it had been months since I'd seen her. I was excited, nervous, wondering if we'd still click the way we always had. And at first, everything was fine. We ordered our usual drinks, joked about old times, shared updates about life. Then she laughed at something I said, but the laugh, it didn't sound right. It was hollow, like an empty echo of the laugh I used to know. And the smile on her face stayed there too long, too wide. It didn't fade naturally, it just lingered, stiff, almost pasted on. And her eyes didn't move. They were flat, lifeless, like glass. I remember sitting there, staring at her, a chill crawling up my arms. For a second, it felt like I was looking at a stranger wearing Sarah's face. I shook it off, told myself I was being dramatic. Everyone has awkward moments, right? But once you notice something like that, you can't unsee it. The next time was worse. We were at a small get-together with some mutual friends. It was loud. Everyone was drinking, laughing, telling stories. Sarah was in the middle of it, like she always was. Someone made a joke, and the room erupted. I laughed too, but when I glanced at Sarah, my stomach twisted. She was laughing, her mouth stretched into that same wide grin, but her eyes, they were dead. Empty. She was looking straight at me when it happened, and for just a moment, I swear it felt like her mouth and her eyes were being controlled by two different people. Like the real Sarah was trapped somewhere deep inside, while something else was wearing her skin. I started pulling away after that, canceling plans, keeping conversations short, but I couldn't stop thinking about it. Every time I replayed the memory in my head, that wrong smile haunted me. Eventually, I couldn't take it anymore. One evening, we went for a walk in the park where we used to play as kids. The swings were still there, rusted and squeaking in the wind. The air was cool, and the street lights flickered on one by one as the sun went down. I thought maybe being in that place with all those memories would bring her back. "Hey," I said, trying to sound casual. "You've seemed a little different lately. Are you okay?" She stopped walking. Slowly, she turned her head toward me, and then smiled. That same wide, empty smile. "What do you mean?" she asked. Her voice was calm, too calm. "I'm great. I've never been happier." But the words felt wrong. There was no emotion in them, no trace of the girl I knew. It was like she was reciting a line from a script she had been given. And for the first time in my life, I was terrified of her. A few days later, I was scrolling through old photos on my phone. I stopped on one of us from a concert years ago. We had our arms around each other, laughing, faces flushed with joy. But in the background, just barely visible in the crowd, was her, Sarah, wearing the same outfit, the same face, the same unnatural smile. My blood ran cold, because in the photo, the real Sarah was next to me, laughing. But behind us stood her double, frozen, staring, smiling. How could that be possible? How could she be in two places at once? I didn't sleep that night, or the next. My mind wouldn't stop racing. Had I imagined it? Was it just someone who looked like her? But deep down, I knew something was horribly, irreversibly wrong. I stopped calling her, stopped answering her messages, but she didn't stop appearing. I'd see her across the street as I walked home. I'd catch her reflection in shop windows. Once, I saw her sitting in a cafe alone, staring out the window with that same empty grin. When I looked again, she was gone. And then came the night. I woke up to a notification on my phone. A message. No name, no number. Just one line. Why don't you smile with me anymore? Attached was a photo of me, lying in bed, asleep. I froze, my chest tight, my skin prickling with cold sweat. Someone had been in my room. Someone had stood right next to me while I slept. And when I zoomed in on the photo, reflected faintly in the mirror across from my bed, was her. That same smile stretching too wide, her eyes flat and hollow. I never saw Sarah again after that, at least not the Sarah I knew. But the smile, the wrong smile, never left me. Sometimes I catch glimpses of it in strangers passing by. Sometimes I see it in my dreams. And sometimes I see it in the mirror on my own face. I try not to hold the smile too long, but every once in a while it lingers. And when it does, I wonder, if I stop smiling, if I let it fade, who will be left staring back at me? So, if you ever notice someone's smile staying just a little too long, if their eyes don't join in, if it feels wrong in your gut, don't ignore it, because not every smile belongs to the face that's wearing it.